All right, we're going to go ahead and call to order the Board of Adjustments meeting. Today is June 20th. It is 1 o'clock. Before we start, I'll read the Board of Adjustments introduction. Hearings before the Board of Adjustments are quasi-judicial in nature. Decisions of the board are based on the record of these proceedings. To grant a variance requires concurrent vote of 4/5 of members of the board. To reverse or modify the determination of an administrative official requires a simple majority. Evidence submitted to the board for review becomes part of the record. Appeals of the board's decisions are to Superior Court and are based on the record. Appeals must be filed within 30 days of the date of the filing of the board's order in the Planning Division. A hearing before the board is conducted in accordance with rules of procedure. Those who want to testify in a case are sworn as witnesses. The chairperson recognizes those who want to testify or their attorneys for presentation of evidence during the hearing. To ensure that all testimony is properly recorded, please come forward, address the board, state your name, address, and speak clearly. All right. Before we get started, we'll go ahead and swear in anyone that's going to speak today.
All right, I'll ask that staff, applicants, and members of the public who wish to speak will stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
All right, our next item on our agenda is approval of the minutes from the May 16th, 2024 meeting. I believe there was one correction, and it would be...
It was for Oleander Drive, switching from 5 to 4 on the vote, since we only had 4 members on that item.
Yes. So with that correction, I'd ask for a motion of approval.
Make a motion to approve with this correction.
And is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Those pass. Next item is old business. It's related to 1202 Eastwood Road. Variance to the City Code 18-185 for the base density reduction of projects located within the watershed resource protected area. Variance to the City Code Section 18-185 for maximum density designated residential property to receive density bonuses within a conservation land classification. Catherine Thurston, present.
The applicant for this item has requested to withdraw. For this item to be brought before the Board of Adjustment again would require them to completely resubmit if the board is to accept this withdrawal.
All right. There's been a request for withdrawal. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
And is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? That's been approved. We'll move on to new business regarding 2 South Water Street, a waiver for the City Code Section 18-270 floodplain management standards for the improvements to the visitor center. And Catherine.
Thank you. Yes, this item is a waiver to the floodplain standards for an existing building within the special flood hazard area. This is our visitor center downtown at the waterfront. According to New Hanover County tax records, this property contains a 561 square foot structure that was constructed around 1988. I'll show you some pictures. This is an aerial of the property. Also an aerial, this is from 2019. You can see that it's been reduced in size greatly. It's currently used as office space for the visitor center employees. It's open air and it's subject to extreme temperatures in the summer and the winter. To facilitate year-round use of this structure, the city has proposed several improvements to the building, including the replacement of all interior wall surfaces, the installation of wall insulation, flood vents, sliding windows, the addition of backflow prevention features to the existing toilets, and upgrades to the existing electrical panel. Since this property is in a special flood hazard zone 8E9, which signifies that waters are expected to rise to 9 feet above mean sea level during the 1% annual chance flood, it is subject to City Code Section 18-270, which requires that new structures and substantial improvements are elevated or flood-proof to at least 2 feet above the base flood elevation, which would be a regulatory flood elevation of 11 feet for this property. Based on an elevation certificate provided by the city engineer, the floor elevation of the existing structure is 4 feet above mean sea level. There's also an existing electrical panel serving the subject property that is located at about 7 feet above mean sea level. The proposed building alterations are a substantial improvement based on the National Flood Insurance Program standards and City Code Chapter 18. The city is proposing to use flood-resistant materials, elevate and flood-proof structures below the regulatory flood elevation, and vent the enclosed space below the regulatory flood elevation. The proposed work complies with the city's standards for development in the floodplain, and it makes the existing structure more resistant to damage from floodwaters. However, it's not feasible to elevate the existing electrical panel. The purpose of this request is for a waiver to the standard that requires the electrical panel to be elevated because it wouldn't be feasible to use if it were to be elevated. And this matter is set before the Board of Adjustment on June 20th, 2024. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have of city staff, and we also have our Director of Public Services present, Mr. Dave Mays, if you have any questions pertaining to the work to be completed.
All right, does anyone have any questions of Catherine? All right,
And I'd
thank
just
you.
like to submit the case summary and all attachments into the record.
All right, thank you. The applicant being also the city is, yes, so would anyone like to address any questions with Mr. Mays? All right, we'll move into the evidentiary hearing. Go ahead and open up to non-parties, and would ask that anyone come forward that has anything of material or substance relative to this matter. All right, seeing that we have none, is there anything else the city would like to present during the evidentiary?
I will just reiterate that this is a waiver request rather than a variance, as is stated on your screen. It's the 11 standards that are in the packet that you received that have to be met, rather than the finding of hardship that is not self-created, that is typical of a standard variance request.
All right, does anyone have any questions on those questions that are in your package? All right. Being that there's no further for the evidentiary hearing, I'll go ahead and close the evidentiary hearing. Anything else, Catherine, from Citywise?
No, thank you.
All right, thanks. Anyone have any questions or discussion related to this matter? So we would just be approving or denying a waiver, and I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the waiver as requested.
I'll second that.
All right, all that being done, everyone that is in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? That passes 4-0. Our next item is related to 710 Military Cutoff Road, a variance to City Code Section 18-389, wall sign standards to exceed the maximum allowable 50 square feet of signage for tenants within the multi-use commercial structure. And Bentley, you'll be presenting.
I will. Good morning, or good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. My name is Bentley Ernest. I am a city planner here, and today our third and final item will be for 710 Military Cutoff Road, BADV 25-624. The subject property at 710 Military Cutoff Road is located within the CB Community Business District. Based on the approved site plan for the Mayfair Station, the parcel contains 2 multi-tenant commercial office buildings. Building 1 along Military Cutoff Road contains approximately 39,000 square feet of commercial space. Building 2, located to the rear of Building 1, also contains approximately 39,000 square feet of commercial space. The applicant has proposed to replace one of the multi-tenant signs on building number 2 with new signage. The proposed signage is in the same location and roughly the same size as what is currently existing. Effective December 1st, 2021, the City Council adopted new standards for signage regulations within city limits. Pursuant to Land Development Code Section 18-389, multi-unit buildings shall be permitted either 2 wall signs per unit, no more than 1 per facade, up to 50 square feet total, or multi-unit buildings shall be permitted up to 200 square feet of total signage per building, whichever is greater. The applicant has requested a variance to Land Development Code Section 18-389 to install a 90 square foot wall sign, which equates to a variance of 40 square feet. The applicant states that the proposed signage is 3 square feet larger than what currently exists on the structure. The applicant states that the existing signage has discoloration resulting from the previously removed signage. The applicant states that the proposed sign design will cover the discoloration and protect the structure from further facade damage caused by water intrusion. All other tenants within the structure will be subject to the same limitations as the applicant, even though today we will just be discussing one of the tenants within the multi-unit building. Additional wall signage on Building 1 would increase the extent of the nonconformity of the building and is not permissible pursuant to LDC Section 18-633, extension or enlargement of nonconforming situations. This matter is set before the Board of Adjustment today, June 20th, 2024. I am available to answer any questions. I know the applicant is here as well, and I would like to submit all attachments to the record.
All right, thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Bentley at this time? All right,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
All right, we'll ask if the owner applicant would like to come up. I show Stephanie Walker.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Walker of 710 Military Cutoff Road. I would like to mention one correction. Our proposed sign is 86.5 square feet, which is the same as our original sign of 86.5 square feet. And I brought a visual of what the existing sign, which is on the top, and the proposed sign at the bottom. We've had our original sign since March 2009. Thank you. Since March 2009, and we are proposing our new sign because of our recent rebranding. Due to AICPA requirements, also known as the CPA board, we are required to properly represent our brand on our building, website, etc. within the year of changing it, or there will be penalties. In the past, AICPA has pursued these penalties in the case of Smith & Johnson because the firm had not updated their exterior signage, and that was met with the two senior partners having their CPA license revoked for 6 months and required to pay a $10,000 fine.
Okay. So your sign is, what you're proposing is the same size as what's there currently?
Correct.
Okay. And, but I don't want to interrupt your presentation. Do you have more related to your presentation? I will let you go through yours, and I think we have some questions for the city while you're up there.
Okay.
We'll go that route.
The current signage regulations, if strictly applied, would impede our ability to maintain visibility and brand recognition essential for our business. With the limit of 200 square feet of signage for the entire building, and there are 8 tenants, that would really only allow for 25 square feet of signage per tenant. The size of the signage would be very difficult or impossible to see from the parking lot entrance or from the road. We would not be pursuing this new signage if not for our recent rebranding. Our new sign is part of our rebranding, so we'd like it to remain easily visible to our clients. Making our sign smaller would reveal the ghosting or fading paint around the existing sign and take away from the building aesthetically. The parcel our building stands on is surrounded by trees, which makes the visibility from Town Center Drive, which our office faced, limited. The building is also large and has multiple entrances, so the sign indicates where our office is specifically. In those photos, the windows you see above our name is where our office is. The hardship resulting from the updated zoning ordinance has decreased the allowable size of the sign since the existing sign was installed in March 2009. Our sign is what our clients and prospective clients use to easily identify and locate our office, which is why we would like to maintain the current size of the sign. Our proposed signage maintains the aesthetic of the building and surrounding area and does not diminish the public safety in doing so. Our employees and clients, as well as the employees and clients of other tenants in the building and the Wilmington area, would love to maintain our beauty in the city and in this region. We are asking for this variance as it allows us to showcase our location with the same visibility that we currently have while maintaining the beauty of the building and surrounding area.
All right, thank you. Does anyone have any questions of Ms. Walker? All right. Okay, we'll probably have some other ones too before we're going. Does the city have any additional information, or can we address the issue of the signs size staying the same?
Yeah, absolutely. The city does allow for non-conforming situations to remain for as long as they remain as is, basically. One of the few exceptions to that would be signage standards, and throughout the city, freestanding signs are amortized. We typically give those a 10-year amortization period to allow applicants to get reasonable use of their sign, but whenever they're replaced and whenever wall signs are replaced, they have to comply with the code that's in effect at that time. And the reason is that we don't anticipate and we don't want, as a city, to allow nonconformities to persist. We want to allow people to continue using their property as they have been, but whenever changes are made, they're required to come into compliance at that time, and so that's what's occurring here. With respect to the brand recognition, it just seems that that's an argument that we hear a lot of times from every business owner, and I think that's important for any business in the city and anywhere else. I wouldn't say that it's any more important for one business versus another, so I would caution against allowing some standard for one business that wouldn't be afforded to all other similarly situated businesses.
Okay. And the other thing, because of the stating the difference in the size of what we were showing, what would if their variance be, I guess, for reducing what the amount the variance would be asking for? Because
I'm going to defer to Bentley on this.
yeah,
I believe.
Can you clarify that for us?
Absolutely, yeah. So the original proposal was for 90 square feet. It seems that they have now edited that proposal to be the same size, 86 and a half square feet. What they are limited to is 50 square feet of signage for multi-tenant commercial structures, and that limitation exists for each tenant. So here in this situation, they would be allowed to do 50 square feet, so 86.5 minus 50, you're at about 38 feet there, 36 feet, excuse me, of a variance. So, with that, as just a final point of record, I would like to point out that they are one of 8 tenants within this structure, and so the other tenants within this structure would also be required to comply with the current land development standards that exist. So in discussion with Stephanie and with Ernie Associates, we did discuss maybe bringing this variance for the entirety of the building, and it was determined that we just wanted to do it for this one tenant. So.
Okay. That's what I wanted us to be clear on what.
Yep.
So right now, the variance is about 36.
They're about 36,
36 feet from the standard, and it's isolated single sign, not entire building.
Correct, yes.
All right. Anyone else have other questions from city or Ms. Walker at this time? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move on to open up the evidentiary hearing. We'll open up for information from the public that's material or substance and evidence related to this matter. I'd ask anyone that would like to speak to please come forward. All right. While we're in this, does the city have anything you want to bring up in the evidentiary hearing?
Nothing new.
Okay. All right. Does the applicant have anything to bring up in the evidentiary? All right. I'll go ahead and close the evidentiary hearing, and we'll go into rebuttals or closings related. Does the city have anything they'd like to add?
I guess I'll just.
Bentley or Catherine?
I'll just end with a 39,000 square foot building in that area and throughout the city isn't really a unique situation, and this allowance for 50 square feet on multi-tenant buildings is fairly consistent throughout the city. So it is the city's position that allowing a variance for this particular tenant in a building that doesn't have any otherwise unique factors associated with it would be inappropriate, and it doesn't seem to create a hardship and if it does, the city would contend that it is self-created.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Walker, do you have anything you'd like to add? You don't? Okay. All right. That being the case, we'll ask for discussion or thoughts on this matter.
My thoughts were just what Catherine said, which is it appears that most of these tenants are going to be outside of the 50 square feet if they redo their signs, and so it's a slippery slope if we allow one tenant to do it. We essentially have to allow all tenants to do it. So if it were to come before the board, I would prefer for it to be for the entire building so that we could apportion appropriately, because a 36 and a half square foot variance seems pretty big.
Yeah. And I'm also like, our hands are sort of tied based on what we can do related to this. Others have any questions or comments?
I would just say that the other side of it to me is that they're replacing what's there with the same size sign. So, I mean, I think that's the other caveat that, understandably, if you did it to all of them, that's a different situation. But I think this variance would, if they're replacing like for like size-wise, I think they're meeting the criteria.
Anyone else have some thoughts or questions? Anyone have a motion related to this matter?
I unfortunately would make a motion to deny the variance request just based on the fact that I don't think it's unique. There's 7 other tenants that are likely going to be in the same position when they redo their signage, and I don't think we can do for one what we can't do for all.
Okay. There's a motion. Is there a second?
I would second that.
All right, it's been a motion and second. All those in favor, I'd ask you say aye and raise your hand. The motion is to deny. Aye. Anyone opposed? That is, the motion to deny is upheld 3-1. And because of our 4/5, unfortunately, it doesn't pass.
Right.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll move on to if there's any other business for the city today.
Yes, City Council did approve a new alternate for you all, Zach Nichols, and we will have training for him next week on Thursday, June 27th.
All right. And I guess anyone that wants to join,
Yes,
welcome
please
to join
let us
that.
know. We'll need to make sure that we're compliant with open meetings laws. But yes, we would certainly encourage you to join.
okay, all right. Does anyone have anything to add or any questions today? All right,
Make a motion to adjourn.
second for that? All right, we're adjourned. Thank you very much.